we'll be really honored to hear from Nico Turini is his name. He works for an organization called Bridges to Prosperity. And what they're all about is they believe that connection among people and being able to travel is, a basic part of advancing the human cause. And so they use bridge technology, basically building bridges in very rural and remote areas to connect different villages so they can move around for education, for commerce, for healthcare. Uh, that's their mission. That's their objective. And he's got a really interesting story to tell. He's lived in Africa for 5 years. He'll tell about their whole organization. It's much like AREMA. It's very volunteer based, right? They set the stage for success, and then they look for volunteers and financial sponsors to come and help with the bridge construction. And so that's we thought it'd be a good fit for a group of people that do bridges as their work. To understand there's also a big benefit to mankind to have bridges where we don't have bridges right
now. You may know the American Railway Engineering and Maintenance of Way Association, or AREMA, as the, quote, keepers of the manuals. You may know them as the, quote, people behind the largest annual railroad conference in North America. Heck, you may not know about AREMA at all. This podcast is designed, no pun intended, to change your view of who AREMA is and how AREMA has changed the trajectory of many railway careers over its 100-plus year history. Welcome to Platform Chats with your host, Walt Blesser, where he takes a moment to discuss the impacts AREMA has had on the very people who are proud to be called members. Are you ready to roll with AREMA?
ARE Corporation is a proud supporter of AREMA and Platform Chats. If you are looking to take your railway structures career to the next level, or simply start it down the right track, please visit us at arecorp.com. Please see our brand new job postings on our careers page or on our LinkedIn page.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of AREMA's Platform Chats. Not only another episode, but a new season. Can you believe we are in season 5, which comes after 4? That means I've been doing this for over 4 years, and I can't believe it. I can't believe we have 4 going on 5 years worth of content, but we do, and it keeps getting better. And it's a pleasure to be able to host this for everybody. And as we enter into 2025, I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a great New Year's and are ready to hit the ground running for this, whatever this year has in store for us. And speaking of what this year has in store for us today, we will be talking about AREMA's Railway Bridge Symposium. And I have 2 key guests that helped organize said program and said symposium. Yours truly included. I guess there were 3 of us. I actually helped a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. But hey, you know what? We are entering 2025, and I just checked the rankings. It looks like we are sitting right in the top 5 of the best 30 railway industry podcasts. So we're still up there. We were at 2 for a minute. We'll see if we can get a few more episodes out there. It's all about that cadence. And unfortunately, cadence requires lots of content and time. And, well, we don't have everything we want sometimes. So, hey, I'll keep it up. If you got great ideas, it's another question or another shout out to anybody out there listening. If you want to hear about something, if you want to learn about something, you think that you've got a great person to be on the podcast, please reach out to AREMA headquarters. Not the AREMA Football Club, but the AREMA Railway Engineering Association. You'll find them at arema.org. And that's, without further ado, with that long introduction, let's talk about my 2 guests that are here to talk about the Railway Bridge Symposium, commonly and lovingly referred to as RBS, which sounds like it would have side effects. It might. It might be mental side effects. But when I say RBS, I, for some reason, think of some kind of horrible commercial on TV where bad things are going to happen after I have RBS. But the Railway Bridge Symposium, It has been chaired by Mr. Ron Berry of BNSF Railway and Mr. Duncan Paterson, the Wizard of Steel Bridges, who is also a key player in putting together this year's symposium. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. I'm going to start with introductions like we do on every show. We're going to go ahead and start with Mr. Berry because his last name starts with a B. Ron, welcome to the show. If you could tell the listeners not only what it is you do for your day job, but I'm sure people would love to hear what you do in your spare time and your role with the AREMA RBS.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Ron Berry. And congratulations, Walt, by the way, on 4 years podcast. So, Ron Berry, I work for BNSF Railway, one of the large 2 Western railroads in the United States. My title is General Director Structures, and that means I get to work with the men and women that do all aspects of railroad bridge management. We have just over 13,500 railroad bridges we take care of on a daily basis. And so we do everything from inspection, construction, reconstruction, rating, maintenance, all the record keeping, clearances, everything that goes along with that, and then certainly safety of all the people that conduct all the work and safety of the train crews and the public. So that's the realm of responsibility I have. Been in the industry for 29 years now. I started actually at a consulting engineering firm as a just generic bridge engineer, and they happened to do a lot of work for the Burlington Northern at the time. And so right out of college, I got aligned with my first boss was a former Burlington Northern Railroad bridge engineer. And so I learned under him as a consultant, worked for 6 years. And part of that time, I got to interface with other railroads. And eventually there was an opening at BNSF. And so I moved from Kansas City, Missouri to officing in Kansas City, Kansas, working for BNSF Railway in the Structures Engineering Department. So I've been doing that for 26 years now, a variety of different roles in the engineering department for BNSF. So that's what I do for work. Have a wife and one grown daughter who's also loosely attached to the engineering industry. She works for an engineering consultant in the Human Resources Department here in the Kansas City metro area. And then a younger daughter who, despite seeing what Dad did, decided to go into civil engineering herself. And so she's a junior at the University of Missouri, just finished her last finals here as we move into the holidays. I'm going to come home and spend some time before she goes back to finish up her degree in civil engineering. So I guess you asked about outside of work.
Yeah. So what are you doing with the RBS? You're officially the chair of the RBS, and let's pause on that actually, because let's come back to descriptions of the RBS and your role here secondarily. Let's get Duncan on here to give his background, and then we'll come back to you, Ron. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Walt. For those who don't have the visual, perhaps Walt's referring to me as the Wizard of Engineering because of the beard that I've grown over the past years. Looking at it now on the podcast, it is rather glorious, if I must say so myself. So thanks for that, Walt. And I'll quickly go to Ron and say I might take up some advice from you on sending 2 girls off to college because I'm getting ready for that process within our home too. But yeah, so let's see. Duncan Paterson. I'm a graduate of Michigan State University, and then I've got 2 graduate degrees from Lehigh University. And then spent about 20 years in consulting, and somewhere along the line, one of my colleagues moved to our office and said, "Hey, we've got some of these railroad projects. Would you be interested on working on them?" And as a kid with a train set growing up, I thought, why not? That sounds pretty cool. Went out there, did a few things in the field, some inspections, and he noticed that I had an interest in it. So he said, "Well, why don't you come and join me at one of these AREMA meetings, this Committee 15 that I'm on?" And yeah, I got to that Committee 15 meeting, met folks like Ron, other folks in the industry, the steel industry, just some really impressive resumes in the room. Started asking questions, and just from that first meeting, I was hooked, and I wanted to get more involved in AREMA and working with the steel industry and being a part of Committee 15. So that shifted my career from dabbling in highway structures to going nearly full time with railroad bridges, which has been fantastic. Right now, we discussed this earlier, that I'm actually in transition with positions. I have stopped being a consultant after 20 years, and we'll start later this month as working with AISC as the NSBA, for all you acronym lovers out there, the Director of Bridge Education. So that's another thing that I've really enjoyed throughout my career, is helping others learn and grow within their own profession, and this is just a great opportunity to do that. Working with, if you know about some of the steel bridge forums that they do, working with the World Steel Bridge Symposium, the steel bridge design courses that they do. And actually, one of the fun parts about the position when I was applying for it is right on the application, it says need to participate with AREMA Committee 15. So that was a good hook right there. So yeah, let's see. Outside of work, I've been married for, I didn't do the math quickly enough, 27 years, with two girls, as mentioned before, getting teenage girls getting ready for graduating high school, moving on to college. Fun fact: I'm actually a paid professional musician. I do have a cover band here in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you're ever in the area, come out and check out IRL band. Pop rock, fun covers.
No, I mean I'll be honest with you. That's the first time we've ever had a plug for a band on this podcast. So
I hope that's allowable. Yeah, thank you.
It is. That is allowable, and it is. That's what you get for going for as long as we have. So it gets a little bit of everything. And I also appreciate the fact that this is the first time, at least you alluded to, in a couple of years that you've seen yourself. Perhaps you don't have mirrors where you live, but you look great, Duncan. And let's get to the RBS, Ron. Let's get out there and say, so AREMA, and I'm going to assist with this one just because I am a participant in the organization of said symposium. But it appears to me that annually, each functional group has the opportunity to put together a symposium. Last year, I believe the functional group, it was an environmental sustainability and resiliency symposium that took place in Tampa, Florida. For those that are listening that might have attended. And this year it's kicking over to the structures functional group, and we are doing the Railway Bridge Symposium. Why don't you talk a little bit about when it is, where it is, how long is it, what are we doing? Maybe give us that 20,000 foot view, and we'll start to land the plane from there.
Yeah, sure. Railroad Bridge Symposium, hosted by AREMA. It'll be February 4th through 6th in Fort Worth, Texas, and it'll basically be a day and a half, pushing 2 days, 40 presentations across a couple different tracks. One a little more technical, and one a little more practical, perhaps maintenance focused. And it's symposium is basically a time where people of similar interests get together, talk about a very specific topic, and specifically, it's a time where the presenters are also the participant. And so, we expect to have over 100 people over those 2.5 days there. We'll include a tour for those that are interested of some active projects in I think they call it the Metroplex area around Dallas, Fort Worth. And then we'll be back in the hotel and have a keynote speaker that's going to open the conference. And then we'll work through a series of presentations over the next day and a half to close out the conference on the afternoon of the 6th.
Okay, so we're talking February 4th. Is that correct? Is it February 4th? Is the at noon? I believe is that the DART tour?
Yeah,
Correct.
We'll start with a opportunity for participants to hop on a bus and go out and see some Dallas Area Rapid Transit, or DART, bridge construction projects. That's on the 4th, and then we'll start the presentations on the day of the 5th.
Okay. And on the presentations, when you say tracks, I think you are saying TRACT, not TRACK in this particular instance, correct? That's
I think it's TRACKS personally,
oh,
Walt.
is it? All right. Well, I
Two
mean, it
different
is.
paths, so to speak.
Yes, if you will. Cool. And let's talk about those,
Yeah.
Duncan. Maybe talk a little bit about your role within the organizing committee. I know we had several subcommittees, everything from sponsorship to call for papers to review of papers. What was your role, and what exactly can participants expect?
Yeah, thanks, Walt. I guess one thing I will point out there is this is a paperless conference, so we are going with presentations. It was a call for presentations, but yeah, that was my responsibility, was to try and tackle the topics that we wanted to solicit from folks to present on, and yeah, we put together so I guess my subcommittee, subcommittee B, call for presentations, and had a handful of folks that we just bounced ideas off each other. But at the same time, is talking to folks like Ron and others within the industry about what they wanted to see if we're going to put together a structure symposium. So we settled on a bunch of what AREMA's got on here for trending topics. If you do go to rbs25.arema.org, you can kind of click through for what the trending topics are. And it's what's hot in the industry, what's innovation, what's being used for innovations for design, construction, topics that some folks may not have been exposed to: soil structure interaction, scour identification, remediation. Kind of the some of the big hitters that, like you said, Walt, may not have that general audience appeal for the big AREMA conference, but when we can get more specialized, it was something we really wanted to take a look at. So the call went out. We had, it was something on the order of 60 submittals, maybe more. And I believe we whittled that down to 40 paper or presentations that were accepted. And I think, we had a real difficult time parsing out which ones we wanted to go with, because there was a whole bunch of quality that came in. It was really encouraging. Some fantastic topics. And so what, is discussion with the overall committee is steering. We did want to do these two tracks, as Ron mentioned earlier, something that'll hit more on the engineering side, something that'll hit more on the maintenance side. So, talking about folks that are in the office doing the design work versus folks that are trying to actively manage things in the field. What else do we want to talk about there, Walt?
Well, yeah, and so I guess I think let's talk about one of maybe the common misconceptions is this is not an overflow for papers that didn't quote unquote make it in the AREMA big session, or did you see some papers that maybe they didn't get into the national conference, but they were hoping maybe they could get in here? Or how would you say that relationship is, if there even is one?
Yeah, sure. Well, we wanted to get the best that we could, and I know that there was a list out there from the presentations that didn't make it to the main conference, and we did, if there was something good there, we wanted to reach out and see if those folks could participate. So that was one of the steps that we actually did, is we took recommendations from the general committee and said, these are a handful that we really want to see at the symposium, and it was unfortunate that they made the chopping block for the main conference. But that's only a small handful of the presentations. Really, what the majority of the stuff that came in was from the open solicitation. We're independent of the main conference, and it really spoke to folks paying attention to the call for papers, because we got stuff that was in line with what we wanted to see. So that was really exciting.
Yeah, and I think that's really what I wanted to hit home, is that this is not just, hey, these papers didn't make it, we're just going to go ahead and put them over here. This is a fresh look at topics based on what it was a subcommittee, came up with as this is how we want the presentations to conform to
Right.
the different topics. Okay, cool. And so the papers. So I'm sorry, you said 60. How many are actually going to be presented? Do you happen to know that offhand?
I believe we've got 40. Um,
Wow.
because we've got the two split sessions, the two TRACKS tracks. Uh, so we've got a split, and then we've got, like Ron mentioned, we've got a couple of the general sessions where there are 4 of these that came in that were just outstanding topics that we really wanted to have the whole symposium be able to view if they wanted to. So 40, I think that's what we landed on.
And are we having a general session in the morning and then we split to the tracks? Is that correct? On the first day?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And then we'll also on the last day as well, we've got we'll wind up with a general session into some closing remarks.
And that is on Thursday?
That's on Thursday, correct? Yep.
Okay. So it sounds like Wednesday we're going to kick off with a keynote speaker, a general session. Wednesday afternoon we got different tracks. Wednesday night we've got the big event at I don't want to say any, it's a golf, it's like Top Golf, right, Ron? But it's a different brand than said Top
Yeah,
Golf.
that's great. Yeah, one of those, I don't know what you call them, tiered golf facilities.
There you go. A tiered golf facility that has nothing to do with actually playing a full round of golf, but it involves clubs and balls. Okay, got it. And then Thursday there is a reconvene in the morning till noon. Is that correct? We break at noon?
Not quite. We'll have a 2 sessions afternoon, and the final general session will start at 2:15. We end at 3:30, at least according to plan right now.
Oh, wow.
So we do have an afternoon session, yeah.
So we got quite a bit. There's quite a bit of content, really, for those 2 days, plus the field trip. So, okay. And then I think what I'm quite excited about is this morning, Ron and I had a touch base call with the keynote speaker who will be presenting to everyone. And Ron, why don't you just give us your 1-minute elevator pitch, if you will, as to why the attendees should not skip the keynote presentation and what it is.
Yeah, we'll be really honored to hear from Nico Turini is his name. He works for an organization called Bridges to Prosperity. And what they're all about is they believe that connection among people and being able to travel is, a basic part of advancing the human cause. And so they use bridge technology, basically building bridges in very rural and remote areas to connect different villages so they can move around for education, for commerce, for healthcare. Uh, that's their mission. That's their objective. And he's got a really interesting story to tell. He's lived in Africa for 5 years. He'll tell about their whole organization. It's much like AREMA. It's very volunteer based, right? They set the stage for success, and then they look for volunteers and financial sponsors to come and help with the bridge construction. And so that's we thought it'd be a good fit for a group of people that do bridges as their work. To understand there's also a big benefit to mankind to have bridges where we don't have bridges right now.
Do you know anyone that's participated in Bridges to Prosperity?
I do. I know several people. I got the opportunity earlier this year to spend 2 weeks in Rwanda helping a team of 11 other volunteers plus some Bridges to Prosperity staff work alongside about 20 villagers to build an 85-meter suspension bridge connecting 2 villages. And I expect there's going to be several other people in attendance at the symposium that have also had an opportunity to be volunteers, or maybe are signed up to be volunteers in the future.
Yes, I remember talking to you when you came back from that, and you were quite jazzed. And if you said 85 meters, if you put that into your bald eagle conversion program, is that roughly 300 feet?
Yeah, I'll go with roughly 300 feet.
Okay, yeah, I put that into the bald eagle calculator that I have here, and it spit out some imperial numbers, which is what I would understand. But I appreciate that, and it's a suspension bridge, and it's not just a piece of rope. We're talking. I went online, and honestly, you should if you're planning on coming and you're going to listen to what he has to say. I don't think it's going to ruin his talk at all, but you should check out their website, Google it, and you'll see some pretty cool structures that they're building to help these folks get across rivers, canyons, etc. Whatever impasse is keeping them from food sources, it sounds like, or even socialization. It's a really cool way to kick off. Well, let's just be honest, a relatively dry topic of railroad bridge construction, maintenance, etc. And I think this is a cool way not only to think, it just gets attendees to think beyond their day job or beyond their desk job as to how they could apply their gifts that they have, their human gifts, spiritual gifts, whatever you want to call them, to help out the greater kind. And I'm really excited to hear what he has to say. He's a very entertaining gentleman. He's got a lot of energy. He's got a really cool story. And so I don't sleep in for that one. So if you come in and you do the DART field trip and you're just jazzed from that, and that sends you straight to the establishments, please be sure to go to bed early and don't miss out on this keynote speech. Duncan, that's what I'm excited about. Now, I know you get excited about when you hear about Fourier transfers and finite element analysis, shells. When I say the word shells, you're not thinking of the beach at all.
No.
So what are you most excited about at this conference, my friend?
Oh, the Laplace transforms and and the green theorem for independent variable calculus. Yeah, now we're talking. Well, I'm really excited, and I hope that all of us will walk away with a case of RBS. I'm really, to be honest with you, I'm very excited about the topics that we put together, and I've got a whole bunch of folks that I know in the industry that'll be speaking. And then beyond that, as always, it's seeing the community being together. I think we lost. I think we lost Walt on that one. Sorry.
Yeah, you did. I'm going to be honest with you. This is episode 39 or 40, I think, and I've kept it together for all of them. And not going to lie, there were a couple good ones, a couple good ha-has. But walking away with a case of RBS might take the cake. So congratulations. Thank you, Duncan. There'll be some sort of prize in the mail from AREMA headquarters.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the takeaways are beyond PDHs, and I think what else?
Yeah.
We're not even talking about the fact that there's conjunctual. Is that a word? Conjunctual meetings going on before and after. There's a reason that the symposium, the field trip is on a Tuesday at noon, and the symposium is Wednesday, Thursday. Do either of you want to kind of talk about the adjoining meetings or what else is going on?
Yeah, I'll mention, Walt, the structures functional groups, the technical committees, the majority of them have chosen to have their winter meeting. I'll use the word adjacent or next to the symposium. And so whether it's, committee 7, 9, 10, 15, committee, they're all going to meet either on the Monday and Tuesday prior, or some of them are going to meet Thursday afternoon and Friday to get their business meetings done. And be in position to also participate in the symposium.
Okay. Yeah. And do you have the actual schedule of who is meeting when? I know committee 15's meeting, is it Monday and Tuesday?
I don't have that, Walt. I think
that's
I just
fair.
direct
I don't mean
listeners to the AREMA website. That's all posted as events on the event calendar.
I know 7's there, 15 is there. I believe 9 is there. I believe 10 is there. I believe the odd man out, I believe, is 8.
Yep, 8 chose to do something different.
Well, they chose, to be honest with you, Ron, they chose to go to Las Vegas. And I have a lot of trouble saying that they made the wrong mistake or made a mistake there. They're going to be joining the World of Concrete, also a crowd pleaser for those of us in the structures group. If anyone thinks that the structures functional group doesn't have fun, I'm going to point you to this podcast, and you will re-listen to this podcast with headphones on. Just you can hear the enjoyment in the guests and the hosts voice. All right, how do we want to round this one out? I think we kind of covered it all. We've got 60 folks applied. We got 40 folks that made it in. We've got a design track. We got a maintenance track. We've got a pretty cool sponsored field trip to see a project for DART, Dallas Area Rapid Transit. We've got a really cool social event on Tuesday night there prior to the symposium. We've got a great keynote speaker lined up. And if that's not enough to get you there, we've got committee meetings on either side of it. So did I miss anything? I guess I didn't even mention the hotel. It's in the Fort Worth area, right? It's the Marriott.
It's called Marriott Champion Circle. It's actually on a golf course. It's up north of Fort Worth, right off the interstate.
Yeah, so if you want to come in, maybe you're not participating in Committee 15 and you want to do some networking meetings, you could go for a round of golf on Monday if you wanted to. You could make a week of it. Heck, you could drop in on Tuesday night, just go to the symposium. There's a bunch of ways you could hit this one, and I think it's pretty cool opportunity not just to learn, but to get inspired from our keynote speaker, to network, earn your PDHs, so on and so forth. So with that, I want to give both of you kind of the last word here. And I'm sorry, Duncan, I think you were about to do that, and I cut you off.
Well, no, I was just going to add, for those that are coming in, I know that the tiered golf event is in the same parking lot as the Marriott, so that's going to be real convenient for everyone to get to.
Oh, that's a good point. So you can just drop in to DFW or Love Field and take an Uber and not have to drive around at all. Okay. I did not know that. Ron, anything from you?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll end with a little sales pitch and then some thank yous.
Please do.
If you're considering whether or not you should attend, or maybe more importantly, if you should send some of your staff to attend, a couple benefits I see here, right? The exchange of ideas and shared experiences, kind of the education piece that comes out of the presentations. Maybe even more importantly, relationships and collaborations. Railroad engineering, pretty small cohort of people that are involved here, and we all tend to know each other over time, and you certainly rely on each other throughout the career. And I'm not just talking about engineers, I'm also talking about consultants, I'm talking about contractors, I'm talking about suppliers, even academia, Duncan, to some extent, right? And so getting to know the others in the industry, that's a huge benefit, both your career and your business as well. And then just the staying abreast of the business. You mentioned PDHs. You'll get PDHs from the presentations you see. There'll also be an opportunity to go online afterwards, because you won't be able to see them all because we run the two tracks concurrently. You'll have access to the presentations you didn't see. If you enroll and participate, you can see those later on. So you get PDHs for all that. And then, just pragmatically, taking good ideas, stealing good ideas, taking them back to your own shop, put them in use. So lots of benefits there. And then I'll end with thank yous. First of all, to the volunteer team, Duncan and Walt, frankly, are just two of about a dozen people that volunteer their time. AREMA's highly volunteer based, as you know, volunteer their time to organize and put this together, determine the focus, put the call to papers, go through all the abstracts, and then ultimately look at all the presentation. Then I also want to thank their sponsors. There's a lot of sponsors that have provided financial backing to this. Consultants, contractors, suppliers. I think it's important to have their name out there in the industry, and so I want to thank them. And then in advance, all the presenters. I know it takes a lot of work to take what we do and boil it down to a 20 or 30-minute presentation that gets the point across. So thanks in advance to those folks. And then to the AREMA staff. Lynn Guba in particular has been running this, but then Morgan and Lindsay and Skip and others are all kind of behind the scenes doing all the hard work that goes into getting the logistics done. So thanks to everyone that had a part of this. I'm really looking forward to it. And then lastly, I wish everyone safe and productive 2025.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. Great words. Duncan, anything you want to add to that, or are you going to Call it.
That's hard to follow up on. Ron nailed it. There are a lot of folks behind the scenes that have been instrumental in putting this together. I will say that if you do make it to the symposium, many of those are moderators. So if you like what you see when we're talking when you're at the symposium, make sure you talk to those folks and say thank you. I guess the last part is to just emphasize that this is not necessarily strictly engineered. You're talking to a few bridge engineers right here today, but we're going to have a fabricator's perspective on there. I'm trying to flip through the list quickly, but it's more than just the engineering, the pencil and paper stuff. So again, I really want to let people know to be excited about the topics that are going to be there.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for being on the show. You have my permission that if you do want to include in your obituaries, respectively, that you were on season 5, episode 1 of Platform Chats. I think that would probably go a long ways with your loved ones. And so with that, I hope everybody has a safe and great 2025. And I hope to see everybody in Fort Worth, Texas. Thank you.
Thank you for rolling with AREMA on today's episode of Platform Chats. For further information about AREMA, please visit arema.org or contact us at info@arema.org.